Good evening and welcome to an otherworldly episode of the Power Hour. I'm Steve, always joined by the one and only urban sensation C Red. Hello, Red. And we've got the one, the only top of the heap that is known as Cactus Rack. Hello, Cactus.
Hello, hello.
And she is smiling. And then, of course, Rion Skills is somewhere out in the ether, and we'll hear from him later. But tonight, our guest, we are honored to have, no doubt about that, perhaps one of the most polarizing figures that I have seen come down the pike in professional wrestling in a minute. But tonight she is here, and we will see what goes on from there. Please welcome Ms. Davison Sarai. Wait, before you say hi, that's Davison Sarai, MALPC CAA DC MST-PSB.
God damn. He said, welcome me. Welcome me.
Welcome the gal, kids. Come on now. Let's be nice.
You invite somebody into your house, you're supposed to be cordial. Hi, hello, welcome to our home. What is this?
I didn't invite you and you called me and read a wind tunnel, so.
Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
That was you. I also said the thing about living in Kmart. That was you. That's hilarious. I didn't know that was you. I'm sorry about that, Rach. Rack. What's your name again?
Don't worry about it.
We are off.
I'm sorry you can't read.
Flying start here. Flying start. All right. Before this goes a way that it doesn't need to go, Davison Sarai, we all became acquainted with you at Chicagoland Championship Wrestling when Brutality essentially kicked the doors of the building in, came in, and essentially sodomized Hot Rod Daddy Andy in the middle of the ring, sending...
That's an accusation. We can't let that go. That's not going to go. That's a real strong accusation. That's a federal offense. I need you to back that up. What did we do to it?
Kind of accurate.
Well, I mean, God forbid I side with Davison here, but we've talked about this, Steve.
What do we talk about? Sodomy? You talking about sodomy?
No, talking about his characterization of things in offensive terms.
Thank you.
All
you
right,
could have said beat. You could have said beat the living shit out of him. You could have said stomped his head into the nether region, send his spirit into the shadow realm. You went to rape. What's wrong with you?
Backing the train up here. Brutality came in and destroyed one Hot Rod Daddy Andy.
He's here. Should I bring him on?
I don't know if that's a great idea right now.
I think that's an amazing idea. It's not my show. Red, it's your show. What do you want to do, Red?
L and a hand card. Here we go. All right. I mean,
it's about our guest tonight. It's about our guest.
Oh,
about our guest.
Let's greatly appreciate that. Very cordial of him.
If Daddy is around, then let's bring Daddy in at some point. Why are you looking? What did I do?
Let's keep going.
Okay. All right. So like I said, we first became aware of Brutality and Davison Sarai back last year at Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. But that is not the beginning of the story of Davison Sarai. She has been around a minute. Davison, give us some background on where you come from and how you got here.
No.
Okay. So you work at many promotions all over the not only the Chicagoland area, but up in Michigan. Obviously, I missed All-Star Lucha Libre when I made the post today because I'm familiar with you at Rocket Pro and Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. No offense to All-Star Lucha Libre, fine promotion, doing excellent work. But also, you are in Michigan at Grizzly Pro Wrestling in Detroit, home of Martez Ale. Hello, Martez. And Superstar Championship Wrestling, I presume somewhere in Michigan. Talk a little bit about the differences between Michigan and Chicago as far as wrestling and styles. Is it similar? Is it the same? Is it different? What do you think?
It's fine. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Here's the thing. Okay, fine. We talked about this before the show. I'm trying to play ball, right? I want to be nice. I want to do the thing. I don't know what I'm allowed to say on this show. So let's get that out of the way. What are the parameters here? What am I allowed to do? What am I allowed to say? I want to be honest.
Well,
But I don't want to
C-Red
offend anybody,
is the gatekeeper of the rules, and he dictates what happens on this show. Red, what are her rules tonight? Do you have any?
Shit, when did we have rules?
Fair. That's fair. So
those are the rules.
There's
I mean,
never been any rules.
there are certain names we can't say, but I mean,
Tell me them, and I won't say them.
No, because we can't say them. So,
Can't speak 'em.
but trust me, I doubt if you'll even say them, so.
Okay, I'll back it up. Steve, your question was, what have I been doing? Where did I come from? That was the question?
that was the first question, but you didn't want to answer. I'm okay with it.
I grew up in a den of vipers near Saginaw, Michigan. I had to learn a lot of survival skills that have resulted in having what some people describe as kind of a prickly disposition. I had to do some self-searching. I became a psychologist, got my undergraduate degree from the Mecca of Behavioral Psychology, Western Michigan University. Thank you, B.F. Skinner. Worked in special ed for a decade, worked in mental health for a couple of years, got my master's degree in counseling, been doing it for 13 years. That got boring. Can you imagine that? Something most people could never possibly do for one day. I'm bored.
So what?
So
You
what do I
decided
do?
to create your own clients?
I decided to start developing some clients. Yeah, absolutely. I'm into like a self-sustaining ecosystem. I'm an environmentalist. Create it,
Oh,
break
okay.
it, create it, break it, create it, break it. It's a nice system.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. There's
I'm
a
not
den of
done.
vipers, you say?
A lot.
I'm not done. So I took all of those skills. I got bored. I got a lot of big ideas and thoughts and whatever. So what did I do next? I found the next hardest thing I could find. Another thing most people can never possibly do. And I've become a standout professional wrestler in about 1 year. 1 year.
You've only been doing this for a year?
Yeah, 1 year. It's a hobby. I don't even care. I never even watched wrestling before this. Somebody told me I should try it. 1 year later, dominating the Midwest. So I don't know if anybody can relate to that or not. Has anybody ever tried to pick up a difficult hobby to challenge themselves to like evolve, juggle,
Yes.
card tricks, carpentry, roller derby?
I tried dart.
Yeah.
Roller derby?
Roller derby, embroidery, knitting. I can go on.
You know what I
I'm
love
learning
about roller?
18 languages as we speak.
I don't care. Do you know
Yeah,
what I love about
exactly.
roller
See, you
derby?
asked the question and you're full of shit.
I like roller derby because it's a camaraderie activity. You need 15 friends and helmets to go be violent. I basically get in my underwear and bra and I beat the fuck out of people with my bare hands. No teams, no helmets. I like embroidery though. I'd like to get a lesson if you have any time.
Yeah, I don't think your face would withstand it.
I don't know what that means.
Uh,
Steve, you got any more questions?
Red, what kind of questions do you have for our guest? I know you are very excited to talk to every guest. You've always got nice things to say. Please bail my boat.
I don't know about bailing your boat, but I am impressed. I think she is the second guest. No, yeah, the second guest that I know of that has dabbled in special education. And I've worked in special ed now for 22 years. And so anybody that can feel my pain, especially on a day like today, has my respect. So that's
interesting, Red.
That's
That's interesting, Red.
You know what I got to deal with after today, Lord have mercy. Lord. And it's still going on. My phone is still blowing up. So,
you sound like you would benefit from mental health treatment, Red. Steve, will you get my information later? I got room on my.
Lord have mercy.
Only too happy to.
Lord knows I would today, if all days.
Red, I don't know the special ed rules in Illinois and Michigan. Kids can be in special ed from the ages of 3 until 26.
So we have them at my school. We have them until 22. So law in Illinois right now is 22.
Okay.
Thank God.
Right.
Let me ask you this. I mean, 1 year you said in pro wrestling, dominating the Midwest, and you were up for a challenge.
What's a challenge?
Why wrestling? Why wrestling?
I think it's nice and honest. Does anybody here watch National Geographic? Like, anybody care about the animal kingdom?
Sometimes I watch.
Yeah. Do you know what an apex predator is, Steve?
Regrettably, I
Not
know
you.
of them.
Certainly not Steve. You're right about that. An apex
Oh, no.
predator is the one in the food chain that has no threats. It just eats. I've always been fascinated by that. You know, the very pinnacle of that thing, it's all violence. It's like consume or be consumed. I love that. I like the hand-to-hand piece. I like the fact that you don't know if you're going to come out in one piece. I like that I'm allowed to work out my own pathos on people legally and for money. I get celebrated by people for being as cruel and violent as humanly possible. I couldn't find any other place that did
Let's
that.
stay on the theme of the animal kingdom. If you were an apex predator, which one would you be?
Me or a great white shark.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's really funny.
What?
You need a bigger boat. Jaws, 1976. Come on.
I
can't complain. I mean, hell, I'm sorry.
Can I finish my other thought?
I agree. She beats people's ass and you get paid for it. And it feels good. I've done it.
Great. Red, when I was working in special ed over here, I was the behavior specialist at a center-based school. You know what that means? He knows exactly what that means.
I know exactly what that means.
When there's a crisis in that building and there's a 300-pound, 25-year-old person with a 20 IQ looking to kill everybody, I'm in action, baby. I get to call my friends. We sprint towards the problem. I can't tell you how many people I watched go to the hospital. You know who never did? This one.
Well, this is it's very unsettling.
What? What's unsettling about that? I'm helping people who need help.
He doesn't understand that aspect. I'm probably the only person that's going to get this reference
right over my head.
You know, so
in Red, your life would get easier if you would just get a master's degree, move up the ladder and get a job where you can stay home and meet people on the screen for 10 or 15 hours a week, make $200 an hour. Easy peasy.
It probably would. I swear.
Just saying, you look stressed. What are you laughing about, Steve? Is that funny to you? You don't look stressed. You look stupid with those glasses. What are you going flying later? You Maverick? Are you Iceman? Who are you?
I'm Steve in glasses. That's all that it is. This is
Steve
the most honest episode I've ever seen in my life. Okay. So
Rachel, what do you think of Steve in glasses? Pretty cool, right?
Like James Dean.
Something like that. Jimmy Dean sausage. Go ahead, Steve. What do you got to say?
You enjoy. Don't laugh at me, Red. That's not
Red just had a heart attack. What's going on over there?
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm like,
what is Rion? Rion's got a shark down there. See, Rion's our
hey!
Great white shark. The great white shark.
He's our videologist. He likes to puts up the graphics, and
I like that.
Coincides with what we're doing here.
I'm going to test that. I would love to see a battle between a praying mantis and a fire ant.
And now Rion is scrambling. Oh, we'll give you what you want, Rion. Always a catch.
Let's go.
Chicagoland Championship Wrestling is returning to its new location, or debuting in its new location in May, in Berwyn, Illinois, at the Eagles Club for New Era. I imagine, since you made such an impact at the last CCW show, Brutality in some fashion will be making an appearance. Are you looking forward to not only the new venue, but the new era?
If there's one thing I have respect for, it is tradition. Believe it or not. Maybe not your traditions, but the ones I care about. I care about them deeply. And that building has a lot of historical significance.
Absolutely.
Shimmer wrestling. Come on, that's legendary stuff. Chicago wrestling, I may not approve of all the peons who are doing it these days. Like I'm just waiting to slide in there and Apex. But for the time being, yeah, it feels real cool to go into this kind of legendary area and show everybody what they want to see, which is the most intelligent, the most capable, the most articulate, and the kindest professional wrestler that Big Rach has ever laid her eyes on.
Is that true if you have to keep telling everybody that?
Yeah, it is, because people are dumb
Okay.
and they forget. And they get
Mhm.
defensive because they feel inferior. So I have to keep saying it and reiterating it. It's almost like living with a person with dementia. You just have to keep reminding them where the bathroom is so they don't piss on your couch, you see.
Interesting.
It's almost like fire ants attacking a praying mantis. Thank you, Rian.
Rian, I might have a job for you, my friend. You should get a hold of my people. I'm looking forward to brutality coming back, Steve. You're right. I am.
The Berwyn Eagles Club, you're right. Historic ground. First time I get to do commentary in that building. I'm looking forward to it more than just about anything else. There's just something special there. Red, I know you've worked there a number of times. I've seen you work shows there. Berwyn, in a nutshell.
There's only two locations, to me personally, that epitomizes Chicago wrestling.
St. Joe's Park.
No.
Franklin
No.
Park.
No. No.
Wrigley?
It's only Berwyn Eagles Club and the
LaSalle.
Milo Dome. The Milo Dome.
Oh, okay.
And when you think about the names that came through Midlothian, whether under any company, like the list is long. And Berwyn is the same. You know, when you just think about the sheer fact, all the women talent that came through that building is astonishing. You know, and they've got pictures to remind you of all the women that came through there.
Mhm.
You know, that you were like, she was nobody. And now look at her, she's on TV on Wednesdays or Fridays or Mondays or Thursdays. So, I mean, both buildings for me are, you know, significant when it comes to Chicago wrestling. For us to, you know, again, I've been there before, but again, this is a different field. It's a different field. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see what we lay out, you know, and how the people enjoy Chicago Land Championship Wrestling in one of the meccas of Chicago.
And there you can see Rian's got the flyer up there, and look who is over Ewok's shoulder telling us to shush on that amazing flyer, none other than our guest, Davison Sarai. So
standing right in front of the Shogun by the looks of things.
Yeah, well,
isn't he like a Chicago legend too? Is he big?
He is he epitomizes the best of the best. There are few that are as heralded as one Shogun, Chris Logan.
Then it makes perfect sense that I'm standing right in front of him. I love that. Thank you for, completing my thought for me.
John
Red, by the
Bolton-
way, where do you think
John
I
Bolton
fit
is a
in?
genius.
Shut up, Steve. Red, where do you think I fit into the pantheon of all those female talents who are now on TV and everywhere else? Where do you think I fit in there?
Well, since here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
1 year, she's everywhere in the Midwest now. This is getting scary.
Yeah.
Because if she's done this in a year and taking over seemingly the Midwest, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen in year 2? What promotion is gonna say, here, let's see what you got? And she kicks down the door and we see her on TV. That is a possibility.
It's a real possibility. And are you familiar with the name Ricky Shane Page?
Yes.
I'm going to go work for him at his company in a couple weeks here. Cleveland, Ohio. Ricky Shane Page. If you don't know, you're missing out. He's one of my absolute favorite American workers in the last decade or two. The fact that he started up a new company down there that's focused on newer talent who have an eye for the future. He's done everything. And all he wants to do now is move over into producing. So I'm going to go work for this place in a new state under a huge name. He's going to get his chops being a producer and an agent. It's exactly what I need at this part in my career. And Ricky Shane Page is one of the most plugged in people in American wrestling. So I think you're right. I think TV is a foregone conclusion. I came into this year with 2 goals. By the end of 2023, you're going to love this. Break into Chicago, break into Ohio or Pittsburgh. It's March. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do this year. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to say everything. Nothing's out of reach. I don't care. I don't think anything's too high or too far. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Rach, whatever you got going on over there, it's mine.
Rian's got a new graphic up there. What do you think of that one?
This guy is something else. I'm going to send me $1 or 2 through Tipster, this person. See that? $10. You know what I like about that? It's not about trying to get, he even told me that we're not allowed to put gifts online because the matches aren't for public consumption. He's going to have a Patreon and stuff. It's really about a training school, like a televised training school with world-class producers and agents. I never heard anything like it. It's like a dream scenario. He called me. Davison Sarai, you're exactly what I want on this kind of thing. I hear you're blowing things up. Please come to my show. And I said, I'm going to cancel my other stuff. I'll come do it for you, Ricky, as a favor.
There you go. Sure. That is pretty impressive. You've definitely caught the attention of the wrestling community in this area, no doubt about it. We were afraid, we were in fear when Brutality invaded CCW. It was one of those holy shit moments. And then next thing I know, you show up in Joliet at Rocket Pro Wrestling and have been aiding No Coast in a war against itself. How did that come to be?
For starters, I don't like the way you frame that. I'm not helping anybody war with anybody. The only thing I do in my career as a therapist is help people reach their potential. That's all I do. I meet a person, I say, what do you want? That's what you want? I'll help you get there. I don't bring my morals. I don't care about ethics. I don't care about right and wrong. That's all perspective. If somebody gives me money and says, I like your expertise, will you come and help these young men maximize their potential? Pay me. I'll come do that in a heartbeat. And I'm happy to announce, look at how successful they've been since I've shown up. Win, win, win. I mean, how did it happen? They called me on the phone, just like everybody else. We heard you got some openings. We got some guys who we really see a future for, but there's a little something holding them down. Could you come help? Did I help? They're running the Fed.
I mean, you broke Osiris's leg.
But okay.
I broke what?
You broke Osiris's leg.
I didn't do anything.
I mean, you were involved in that whole thing.
So what?
So
that was nothing to do with him. That was about them reaching their. Let's do it like this, Steve. Do you know how to go? Do you know fishing? Do you ever go fishing?
No, not a fisherman.
Not surprised. So what you need to do when you go fishing, you need to be able to stick a thing on the hook. You need to be able to throw it in the water, right? That's it. It's pretty simple stuff. If they're missing the worm, I bring the worm. If they're missing the string, I bring the string. If they're not catching fish, I help them change the bait. I don't expect you to understand that. Rachel understands. If I want to do embroidery, I need a needle. I need some thread. I need some granny fabric. Boom, off you go. She needs a needle. I'll give you a needle. Pay me. I'll give you a needle. I help those guys get over their fears. You want to get over your fears and succeed? Beat up that old man. What's his name? Chad?
Chet.
That old man. What is it?
Chet.
Chet. Chet. What the hell kind of a name is Chet? What is that? Is that short for something?
In that particular nationality, it's a strong name.
What is it?
So what exactly is the value of kidnapping a man in a wheelchair and pushing him down a hill? What is that prove to anybody?
I don't know. It has nothing to do with, I don't know what they want to prove to anybody. What it proved to me is they're now fearless. They're not
They're
held
not
back.
afraid of someone who's already in a wheelchair and elderly. Okay.
No, they weren't afraid to take an old man who was not in a wheelchair and stick him in one permanently.
Mm-hmm.
I helped them overcome
Interesting.
their fears, their limitations, morality, ethics, legality. None of that means anything if you're determined enough to self-actualize. Be the best version of yourself. Red, do you feel like the best version of yourself? Have you self-actualized?
Today, no.
I can help you. What's your greatest fear, Red? Aside from obsolescence, everybody's afraid of obsolescence. What's your greatest fear?
Oh, this is good.
Yeah. Spiders.
My goodness. No, I run a pet store.
Is it erectile
There's
dysfunction?
Chet.
Hey, Chet.
Is that short for Chester? Is that what Chet is? Chester.
Chet is just Chet. I don't know if it's short for anything. He is he is a very important person at Rocket Pro Wrestling, indeed.
He must not be that important. He's been gone for a month or whatever it's been, and the place is still running. I hear they're getting more
People
fans all
tried
the
to
time.
kill him.
Apparently, what you need to do is get rid of him because numbers have kept increasing since you disappeared. You're welcome.
Oh, man, you and Damian Saint must have some kind of deal. Anyway, Red, what's your fear?
I don't have one. I think I've faced all my fears at some point in my life. So at this point, life is just a cakewalk.
If I offered you an opportunity to go to an adult function and be naked in front of strangers for about 3 hours, would you do it?
She must don't know me very well, do she?
Excellent.
That's a weekend. That's Red on Saturday night.
Excellent. I need my people to do more research on this thing. We're gonna get in touch later. We're gonna work something out. Damian Saint happens to be an excellent human being with a lot of creative ideas and a real vision for business success. He's not bothered by morality either. Capitalism's not about morals. It's about gain. Gain.
Mm-hmm.
Gain.
That might be the biggest. That might be a statement ladled in horse crap more than any we've had in months here on the Power Hour. Damian Saint is a good person.
Is that what I said?
Kind of what I got out of it.
Well, that explains a lot of things about you. I said this and you heard this. I don't know what to do with
I
that.
hear what I hear.
Well,
My question is, No Coast competed this past Saturday against the other branch of No Coast, DC Shaw and Trevon Wolf in action there. And it didn't go as well, perhaps, as it had in previous months. They did get the victory, so I guess the end game is the same, but they didn't look very good doing it. And it ended up that
what the hell is that supposed to mean?
Well, they took the beating pretty heavily, and eventually Shaw and Wolf got into it with each other and got disqualified. So it was a hollow victory, shall
So
we
they
say?
didn't really win. That wasn't a win.
They won as
They didn't win.
of a disqualification.
Did they ring the bell after the match?
They did.
Did they announce any names?
They did.
Who'd they say?
Joey Blues and Brian Kraser.
So tell her what that means.
It means technically they were victorious in their match.
It doesn't count.
But my point is,
What is she, the commissioner? Oh,
she's
whatever. Go
savvy.
ahead.
She knows her stuff, no doubt about it.
They won, but they didn't win. She knows her stuff. Okay, go ahead.
Conspicuously absent was you. Why?
I mean, why?
Why?
Why was I not there?
Yeah. Were your boys ready to fly by themselves?
Believe it or not, and I know this is going to be hard for you to grasp,
It might be.
some of us are capable of doing multiple things at the same time without any of those things losing quality.
I see.
I've been working with the boys for many months, and as I've said, win, and regardless of what she has to say about it, win. Do I need to be over their shoulder the whole time? Do you think that Tom Cruise has a person looking over his shoulder saying, this is how you act crazy in Scientology? No, he just does it because he knows how. He doesn't need instruction on that. They don't need instruction anymore either. They know how to win. And ask yourself this question. I don't know if you have yet. Why would Wolf and DC Shaw get into it in a moment like that? What could possibly get into their heads that might make them disagree at the worst possible moment?
That's
a coincidence.
That is a fine question that we would have to ask Mr. Shaw and Mr. Wolf.
To answer your question, I was somewhere else doing something just as important. It may or may not have to do with my future. It may or may not have something to do with Rocket Pro's future. I'll say that because of my professional experience and expertise and
God help us all.
amount of professionalism. It turns out they're starting to trust me with some other business. And since I have so much confidence in my boys and they just keep winning, they might just have a certificate of completion sometime in their near future. And then we're going to see phase 2. Until then, you can just go ahead and assume that you'll continue to see me when I'm available. And when you see me, I'll be with the winners, because that's what I do. I hang out with or create winners.
I can definitely see the Damian Saint influence on you. Your ability as a spin doctor is spectacular.
I'm going to go ahead and say this once. Damien, if you're watching this, just turn the volume down for a second. Give me 5 seconds, turn it right back on. I was like this before I met him. I've got a master's degree. I'm a lot smarter than him, but he's pretty good at running that company. Damien's a great guy, and he's a good friend of mine. We see things the same way. Great guy. Next question. Brutality. You asked me about brutality.
I did ask you about
Hot Rod Daddy Andy.
Brutality destroyed Hot Rod Daddy Andy. I'm wondering what about him irked Brutality? Did Brutality decided to lay down the thunder on him? You know, very popular, very charismatic, a very beloved superstar, and you decided that that was your moment to shine, to attack a man 3-on-1.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Why?
Is that the question?
That's what. Why?
I've had the misfortune of meeting Andy on multiple occasions prior to the event. I think we can all agree that, like you just said, Andy is some kind of a symbol for a certain amount of our populist demographic. Some people really relate to the whole gas station glass bandana leather denim jacket thing. When I look at him, I see a modicum of talent, a modicum of personality, a little bit of potential. And I think that's highly relatable to like 90% of wrestling fans. They're never going to do much with their lives. They're probably already doing more than they ever thought they would. Andy is a walking, talking symbol of mediocrity. He's like the American dream of a white trash hotel vacation. He was the one to choose.
So if he's that insignificant to you, why does it matter? Why are you bothered?
Because it was easy. And
so
it was
lazy.
Effective.
So you're lazy.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I'm lazy with my master's
You pick easy targets
degree
because you're lazy.
I'm an amazing pro wrestler because I'm lazy.
There is such a
because you're an
thing as
individual.
mental laziness as well, but okay. Emotional laziness, yeah, you got it. Bullies pick easy targets because they're scared and they're lazy.
If you're calling Andy lazy, by all means. Chest was obviously lazy. He's an old man with no energy. So, I mean, if I want to go eat some food, do I need to run through the woods to catch a deer, or can I just go get a burger somewhere? Like, I don't need to prove much of anything to anybody in this particular program. All I wanted to do was make it clear nobody's safe, even if you're popular for no good reason. And if you happen to be dating a third-rate stringer on some kind of a second-rate roller derby team, I'm going to find you.
Yeah, third-rate
stringer in front of
reigning
everybody you
champion, multiple years in a row, sin bin queen, most valuable blocker, the only league doing what we do. You know, I'll say it again. You are a useless fucking hack.
Oh man, Steve, you told me I'm not supposed to say fuck on this show. So guess what's going to happen now? The next time I'm there, I'm going to ask somebody to get a contract signed. And whether I got to put on some stupid ass roller skates or she's got to learn how to do something without 15 friends backing her up, I don't care. This is the last time we're having a conversation without blood coming out of her fucking mouth.
Once needed someone to back me up. Never once.
That's why they call somebody.
I'm gonna call time.
What's that? What's that? What? Shut up, Steve.
That's a good looking guy right there. Red, you said you weren't afraid of anything. What the hell are you doing? Scratching your feet?
I have known people like you my whole life. And there's a reason people like you can't hack it in roller derby.
Because some of us can do
because you're scared.
Sports, team player.
You're scared. You're fucking scared. You couldn't be on a team because you don't know how to be a team player.
I don't know how to be a team player because I'm an individual.
You have to find people that are fucking stupid to buy into your bullshit and be manipulated by you.
And
the reason you don't fucking like me, Davison, is because I'm too fucking smart to be fucking manipulated by you. Good night.
Whatever you say. Oh, thank God. Thank God. I asked ahead of time, Steve. Red's out of the screen because he doesn't want to deal with this. What did I ask you before I came on the show? If I go on this show, there better not be any fucking idiot co-hosts who are going to waste time, suck up the oxygen, and make me move off my fucking perch and talk about shit that doesn't matter to me or my career. It's to talk about embroidery and roller skates. This is why I joined Brutality, and that's why we went after Andy. Because he's insignificant. And yeah, it was easy. It was easy.
Moving on.
Moving on.
You said your goal in 2023, you have a plan and you've got opportunities, and you talked about your adventure in Ohio. Going further than even that, what is the end game for Davison Sarai? What are you hoping to achieve long-term in this business, or any business for that matter?
I think that's actually a very good question. Good job, Steve. I don't have, let's put it this way.
I think something happened to your computer because I can't hear you.
To me? Still?
I can hear you, but you're
very low.
Suddenly became very quiet.
Oh, I didn't change anything. How's that now?
Okay. No, now you're back. Now you're back.
Okay, I'll just keep getting closer.
It's an important question because in the frame of reference that you've only been doing this for a year, it's extraordinary the dominance you've shown in this business to come across to people that have been doing it for a long time and making such an impact. So as you move forward and gain more experience and you do more things, where do you want this to go? Do you want it to end up at a television level, or are there bigger things that transcend wrestling for you?
Are you familiar with the phrase alpinist?
I am not.
It's a person who climbs mountains.
Okay.
Alpinist.
I get that.
I have to tell my clients sometimes that there's a whole sky full of stars, billions of them. If you were to pick one of them and say, that's the one right there, you just shut out the other 20 billion, right? I'm a big believer in the gray. I'm a believer in the nebulous, the formless, the shapeless. My goal is ascension. There's no landing place. There's no exact door or address. It's about the climb. I don't care about money. I have money. I don't care that much about titles. I've had titles. I'm fighting for a title at Grizzly Pro coming up in a couple months here. I mean, there are going to be those opportunities. That's not my real goal. I'm challenging myself to do as much as humanly possible just to prove that I can. It's important to me to prove that I can do things that nobody else can do. That's my goal. If that means getting to the top of wrestling and getting on TV, fine. That won't be the end of it. If that turns into getting on TV as an actress or whatever the hell, that's fine. That won't be the end of it. If I run for president someday and I run the country, that won't be the end of it. I don't know where it's going to land. I just know that it's never going to end.
That is actually, in a strange way, incredibly inspiring. And there's another graphic for Rion as he is honed in on your career like no other, apparently.
He's killing it.
He is
IPW, that's the company in West Michigan, Independence Pro Wrestling, run by one Josh Raymond. Used to be known as Josh Abercrombie in the Midwest for a long time. That was my trainer.
Oh, that's very interesting. Look, my mind is blown. I keep going back to you being 1 year in this business.
Why is that so hard for you to believe?
It's not that it's hard. It's just it's a very uncommon thing to go from never being here to being a very high level in such a rapid ascent. I've been around myself for almost a decade now, Red 20 plus, and I've never heard Red talk about someone go from zero to superstar status in that short a period of time. It's very uncommon. Your trainer, everybody gives a lot of credit to those that train them. Do you think his training is what allowed you the tools to springboard, or do you think it's just the fact that you have a higher purpose and a higher calling that transcend even wrestling itself?
I think it's a conglomeration. I think I have more potential than just about any person I've ever met or anybody who's currently alive. I think it's immeasurable. That being said, you can't be an astronaut unless you work for NASA. So I had to get trained. But what did I do? I found the best trainer. My coach was in Ring of Honor. My coach was in Wrestling Society X. My coach wrestled around Europe and Mexico. He trained with Marty Jones. He trained with Skida. Does that sound familiar? Who else do you know that trains with Skida occasionally? Oh, wait, it's me. Just like I went to Western Michigan, shut up. Just like I went to Western Michigan, the mecca of behavioral psychology, to get the degree I wanted to get. I basically went to the mecca of professional wrestling trainers. He's been a high school wrestling coach and a fighter for 20 years. One of my co-trainers has been an MMA fighter professionally, decade. Is it any surprise to anybody that I have this well-rounded wheel of just violent options I can break out at any time? It was all by design, all by design. So if it hadn't been for them, I think I would still do all of these things, but it wouldn't have taken a year. It would have taken maybe like 18 months, maybe 2 years tops, but it helped. It helped.
You're one of the most confident people I have ever encountered on this show. And we've had a lot of guests.
A lot of people are cowards.
Is bordering on narcissism.
You don't know what narcissism is. What are the symptoms of narcissism? Exactly.
Then what am I trying to say, since you seem to know me better than I know myself?
I don't know you better than I know me, but I know what the hell narcissism is, and I'm pretty sure you don't.
Okay. Moving on.
No. Let's not move on. Narcissism is a personality disorder where a person is convinced that they're better than and they know everything more than everybody else. It's a delusional state. I'm not a narcissist because I'm not delusional. I'm actually smarter and better than everybody.
There's a fine line then.
Well, it's not that fine. I don't bother myself with that. I had a conversation earlier today, and I'm interested in both your inputs, especially Red's, because he's actually a wrestler. No offense, Steve, you're great. I'm glad you're peripheral to this whole thing.
Wouldn't be the first time I've heard that.
I don't care. I don't listen to these shows. Red, can we agree to something right now? Professional wrestling, above most things, is rooted in tradition. Is that a fair statement? Is it also a fair statement? Is it a fair statement to say that the tradition of pro wrestling is about respecting elders and soaking it all in and taking your time on the road and putting in those miles? That's all part of it too?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we also agree that if it's a business, and it is, and people want to do it to make money, and they do, wouldn't the goal be to get like to the top and make as much money as possible? It's a business, right?
Correct.
So why in the hell do wrestling fans and especially wrestlers give people like me a bunch of shit when I don't need to spend 15 years on the road? I don't need to spend 20 years carrying bags. I showed up and I can do surgery on day one. Why do I have to go to med school for 8 years when I can test out and do surgery today? Why do old timers and people with this much talent resent somebody like me who can show up at the fast pass, skip the whole line, and get on the roller coaster first? Why is that such a problem for everybody to accept?
I don't think it's a problem for everybody to accept. I think those that understand that if you have the talent and you have the ability, and someone else sees it and they fast track you, then they're jealous, envious.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. So a lot of people don't like that. There are some people that it takes decades to hit their stride or be noticed or be seen, whatever the case. And then there are some that just are able to walk through the door, like you say, fast track, and bam, there they are. Me personally, I believe in traditions, but at the same time, I also believe in, as they say, striking the iron while the fire is hot. I mean, if it's now and somebody's there, why not get yours?
Thank you.
Why not? But that's just me.
No, well, it might just be you because you're the only vet I've ever met who is willing to be honest about that. I'm a fucking psychologist. I think about motivation all the time. The only reason somebody would say, don't cancel student debt, don't give people universal health care, and you better damn well get in a stinky car for 15 years is because of bitterness. I had to pay, so you have to pay.
And unfortunately, that sucks. And I can honestly say it because there are some. So let's just lay this out. I understand that everybody wants to go to the top. That's great. That's beautiful. And we all come in and we all pay our dues. But guess what? Again, I am not that person that if there's a kid and he comes in and guess what? He can do everything that the promotion is asking, the promoter is asking, and bam, guess what? Well, guess what? I'm not gonna hate. Why should I hate that this person has a moment that they can take to the next level versus no, you sit your ass down and you wait I believe, guess what? Sometimes it's about timing. And guess what? Just because your time took 10, 15 years and somebody else's takes a year and other people are now like, yes, we want them now. We want her now. Well, hell, let her go. Let her do her thing. Shit, I ain't mad at it. But a lot of people, again, like you said, they're holding on to that bitterness and that jealousy and that envy, and it didn't happen to me that way. It's like, well, that was you and this is her. So
Steve, I'm going to do something I never do. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of credit. Earlier today, I told you I didn't want any of your hosts on this show because they're usually making a bunch of white noise that doesn't make any sense. I want to thank you for not allowing that. This is the only time you're going to hear this from me. This is the most interesting perspective I've heard from a veteran wrestler in a very long time. The tradition of wrestling is you back up the boys. You back up the boys and you don't break locker room and you don't do any of that shit. Women in wrestling, we're not supposed to be at the front of the table. Queer people, trans people, we're not even supposed to be in the conversation. So when people don't understand something and it's moving past them, ego, ineptitude, not good enough, the voices come back from your childhood, all of that gets projected onto the success stories. You know, I never heard anybody say, you know what, Kurt Angle got really good really fast, but they shouldn't have put him on TV. He should have gone on the road for 5 more years just because. Kobe Bryant, he should have gone to college. I know they're going to give him 20 million in his first year, but skip all that. He should have gone to college. Would have been good for his character. It's so stupid. It's so rooted in jealousy and pettiness. I don't even know what to do with it, which is why I don't care anymore. And so when people talk about me being polarizing, I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't know if anybody likes me. I don't care. I don't care. It's not why I'm here. I don't give a shit. If people don't like me because they can't do what I do, good. Good. Thanks for recognizing it. Thank you.
Wow. Well, that was real talk. People will be talking about what just happened here for some time to come. I'm intuitive.
And I'm sure I'll hear all about it because I always do.
When I was doing the show graphic earlier in the week, I described you in a way when fear and fascination collide. And I really believe that's true, maybe more now, more so than even before, because you are certainly someone that should be feared in the way you conduct yourself. It's frightening in many cases. I've seen you do very violent things, things that I just don't want to speak on. But I'm also fascinated by the way you speak and what you do. And it's like a car crash. You want to look away, but you just can't. You're horrified, but thrilled at the same time. And that is an incredibly dangerous combination. And I think that might be what makes you such an interesting / spectacular personality in this business.
It's almost like that's by design, right?
Almost by design. I give that as a compliment, although it might not have sounded like a compliment.
It sounded like adoration, which basically sounds like a compliment.
Well, I'm a lot of strange feelings when I talk to you that I can't even process. So,
Steve, you and I do have a very interesting dynamic. I've noticed it since we first met. And this isn't the first time you've mentioned that you find me fascinating.
You are fascinating.
I find that fascinating. I find your fascination with me fascinating.
Steve.
Yes, sir.
Are you smitten?
That fear, I'm afraid, is what that is more the axiom I would use there. But when she comes over to commentary, she literally ripped Shelly's hair off of her scalp so she could sit down, and there's just something. It's hard to describe. There's no one in this business like Davison Sarai. Period.
But so she assisted Shelly and sat down. Did you say anything?
I couldn't say anything. What am I going to do?
He could. He just didn't.
And that's what I'm going. He didn't. And I find that.
Well, ask the follow-up. Why not?
So Steve, you crushing?
No.
You sure?
I'm a professional commentator. We don't do that.
I
What's
mean,
a
not
synonym?
crushing in the sense, but you like her? Like
She's
you want to
fascinating.
take her out?
Oh, what?
He's
I'm
fascinated.
I'm just asking.
Listen, this is not even have any purview in what we're discussing here tonight.
Actually, I disagree. I disagree completely. You're the one who brought up this fascination. This is not the first time you've done it. Ask yourself this question, Steve. You described me as a car crash that you can't look away from. Now, we're hardwired to keep our eyes open for exciting and dangerous things. That's how we've survived and propagated the species. So it doesn't surprise me that you can't take your eyes off me for a variety of reasons. But I need you to be honest with yourself. What do you find so spectacularly fascinating? Is it the fear? Do you get? Is it arousing?
Whoa! What?
I'm talking like I'm talking emotionally. I'm talking emotionally arousing. You get aroused.
I know that's hearsay. Rian,
it's a question.
We're gonna go. We got more questions. Rian, any questions from you? Thanks, Rian.
No.
Perfect timing.
I did not
Thanks,
have
Rian.
any questions. Have a good one.
You don't want to be in this conversation? Fine.
Rian's gone. Rian,
Yep.
no help whatsoever.
Red, you've known this guy for a long time. You tell me.
I have, and I mean,
what's his type?
I don't know. But the way, again, it's funny that you pinpointed the same thing that I pinpointed. That he talked about, it's like a car crash, but you can't look away. And it's like, so does that mean when you walk away, he looks and he looks and he looks and he looks?
I hate it when you leave, but I love to watch you go. That's how.
Right, like, oh my God. Like, is that the reason why he's wearing glasses tonight?
That I always wear glasses.
Yeah, but not always.
Always.
I think he's trying to obscure the fact that his eyes keep traveling down instead of staying up here.
Whoa! This no.
Then you just think you look cool. That makes perfect sense.
I definitely think that I look cool.
I'm just saying, Steve. I mean, honesty is the best policy.
Yes, indeed, it is the best policy.
Set yourself free with the truth.
Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Here's what I want to say, and we'll put this to bed. We'll put it to bed, Steve. Not bed, but bed. We'll put it to bed. You ready?
I'm ready.
When you were a young man, and please be honest, Red just told you to be. Every young man has that special moment where they discover what they can do with their bodies.
Oh, sweet motherfucking Jesus. Okay.
If you happen to be really scared when you do it, you might just wind up with a kink for the rest of your life where you get aroused by scary stuff. So do you want to be honest? Because you've been sending me messages. We exchange thoughts and ideas when we see each other at the shows, on Facebook occasionally, when your dumbass friends aren't interrupting us. I'm pretty sure I recognize this, saying. So, how was it the first time you discovered your body's ability to?
I don't think anybody wants to.
I want to know.
Human being that cares about that.
Red was wondering.
Why did Red light up a cigarette right now? Red, you are not helping.
All I'm saying is obsession for men.
Red and I need to have
any questions, Rian? Oh, car crash. Very nice. Yes. Thank you, Rian. Very nicely done. Car crash. Fantastic.
Look at me taking my eyes off of it, Steve. You might want to take a hint.
That's fantastic. Davison Sarai, where can people find you? Not only on social media, talk about what's upcoming for you. I know you talked about Grizzly Pro. Tell us where people can find you and watch what you do.
On Saturday, March the 11th, you can see me at Berwyn in Chicago for All-Star Lucha Libre. On Saturday, March the 18th, you can see me in Detroit at Grizzly Pro Wrestling. On Sunday, March the 19th, you can see me at the Vegas Strip in Battle Creek, Michigan with Lethal Lucha. On Wednesday, March 22nd, you can see me in Cleveland, Ohio with Ricochet and Page. I have 2 shows in April I'm looking to add to, and I have 5 more shows in May. I don't remember where they are. I'd have to talk to my people. You can find me on Facebook. I'm always on when I'm not in jail. Facebook jail. I've been in jail a lot of times. You can find me on Instagram, Davison Sarai. You can find me on Twitter, Davison Sarai. You can find me on TikTok, Davison Sarai. I'm everywhere. It's easy to find me, and you should.
See, Red, it's that time of the show where you give the roses, and I'm very happy to yield the floor to you.
Oh, I bet you are. Obsession for me.
You're not helping.
I'm just saying. What can I say? I can say, first of all, I can say I'm sorry. I had this negative opinion about you. And from the moment you've opened your mouth tonight, I've been enthralled. I've been captivated. Again, first, the whole special ed. First of all, let's not even talk about the degrees and all of that and all the letters that go behind your name. That's just too much. But you worked in special ed for a year. Much respect.
10 years.
10 years.
10 years. Damn. Okay. Well, hey, I'm still there. I wish somebody would pull me out. But then, and the funny part, yes, Steve, I said the funny part. Jim B. All right, there we go.
I'm a substance abuse counselor too, Steve. Just putting it out there.
Clearly, I need more help than even I thought.
Especially on Tuesdays. I see where you were going. She went and got one of the best to train her. So when she started this journey, she didn't pick some random school. I can kind of see where she went with this. She went and got one of the very best, especially out of Michigan. And I know Josh. I've worked with Josh. And now she has taken her talents other places. Like we all say, it's a ladder to get where you're going. Well, she didn't just put her foot on the first rung and then the second rung. She put her feet on the first rung and then skipped to the 4th rung. And now she's on the 8th rung. She's damn near at the top. It's like, wow. Okay. I feel that. I can respect that. If you've got the ability to do it and you know who to do it, hey, more power to you. Even this whole no coast thing, I'm starting to see a little bit more clear. I still don't like Joey Blues. I'm sorry. I'm just not a Joey Blues. Well, I do like Joey because we eat the same hot dogs.
That's fair.
But I don't like Crazy because he doesn't eat the hot dogs.
Also fair.
But when it comes to her, I have gained so much respect from tonight's interview. I see where she's going. The question was posed again earlier. Where do I see her being on that wall? And honestly, I can see her picture being placed on that wall in Berwyn Eagles Club as one of the people that have passed through here on their way to success. I can see that. I also see your obsession, Steve, but that's for another day.
You'll notice I'm not bothered by the obsession because I can't blame him. I think it's moderately sad that he thinks he has a shot in hell. I mean, that part is his whole separate conversation.
What is even happening here? Okay. Red, thank you for the roses. That's lovely as always.
I'm just saying, Steve.
Yeah, I appreciate what you just saying.
See you, man, in the Westwood Final.
Rion, do you have any final questions for Ms. Sarai before
Like you didn't finish your sentence. That's
I
probably
just
why
wanted to know
you
if Rion had anything.
Uh,
This has been one of the, I don't even know what to call this episode. This is, fear and fascination. No, fear and fascination collide. That may be what we call it.
Steve, can I have an open floor for a second?
I was just going to say, do you have any final thoughts?
When I debuted in Detroit, Michigan at Grizzly Pro Wrestling, people kind of knew who I was, but it was my first time in the biggest city in Michigan. I proceeded to cut an 11-minute promo that people are still talking about because it offended some of the owners of some of the biggest and longest running companies in the state. Some of them are known to steal from people. Some of them are known to have really dirty business practices. And as you know about me, I don't shy away from the truth. So I took a live microphone in a big ass city where I'd never been, and I rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot because I made a lot of enemies, and people have never stopped talking about it. What I've noticed is if you walk into a room where everybody knows each other, you flick the lights on a couple of times and you start a fight with the most popular guy in the room, everybody notices. And you actually get a bunch of people to be a fan of yours. It's kind of weird that way. It's probably the fear and fascination thing you're mentioning. So take that story I just told you about Grizzly Pro and imagine how you saw me debuting at Chicagoland. Mm-hmm. Similar energy. Think about when you saw me debut at Rocket Pro. Similar energy. I think you're getting the theme here. I'm a nuclear bomb of a pro wrestling personality. You push the button and there's a mushroom cloud with my name on it. It doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter who I've met. Anybody I've met who's supposed to be way above my pay grade, by the end of the conversation feels like a chump because they figure out what Red figured out in a whole 45 minutes. Whatever people have to say is always going to be sugar-coated because of their bitterness, their jealousy, their inability to understand something bigger and greater than themselves. So they're going to talk to each other who they relate to about this thing they don't understand or like. And while they're doing that little circle jerk, I'm going to Mars and I'm setting up a colony. And when I bring people to Mars, then I'm going to Jupiter and I bring people there. Then I'm going to Pluto and then I'm gone. You'll never hear from me again. I'll be too big and too far to even deal with any people at that point. That's my goal. One city at a time, one room full of people at a time, one star, one legend. Doesn't mean anything to me. Rungs. So thank you for recognizing that, Red. I put my foot on the bottom one, I jumped, and I grabbed onto the top one. If you pry it out of my hands, feel free, but I'm going to kill you while you try.
That is impressive. Okay.
Any more questions?
I can't think of one right now, and that's unusual because I usually
Ain't
have,
it though?
I'm usually have a million of them.
You're speechless.
I've been caught off guard this evening. We might have to bring you back for a second show so I can be a little more prepared next time.
Caught with his pants down, I think is what he just admitted to, Red.
No,
Caught him with his pants down.
I've had pants on the whole time, even though
I've seen nothing but a black shirt and some ugly, stupid sunglasses.
Yeah, they're not ugly, stupid perhaps, but not ugly.
Goodwill package painting behind you. At your grandma's house. Where are you right now?
This is that. Oh boy, that's not going to go good for me later. That's for sure. This is a fine painting, by the way, not a dollar store painting. It's a fine painting. Anyways, that was a wedding gift. That's another story, another time.
I'll come back some other time if you want me to. That's fine. Whatever, man. I don't care.
Are you going to be at Rocket Pro in April?
Probably.
It's a yes or no question.
I don't know the answer to that yet. I don't know what other opportunities are going to present themselves. Probably.
You are a very frustrating guest.
Are you frustrated?
I am frustrated.
You might want to consider psychological counsel, my friend.
I might want to consider something because this is interesting. Okay. And there's the placard for spring break coming to you April 15th in St. Joe's Park in Joliet. No Coast needs you because they did not look like No Coast had been looking without you. So I think that they need you to come back and shepherd them through the next level.
If you've ever watched Forrest Gump,
I
there
have
are many lessons to be learned. One, Jenny was a horrible human being. And two, if you run around with leg braces on forever, you're never going to learn to run without them. So
I love her.
I took the braces off, and they may not have run a marathon, but they still got over the finish line. If I keep my hands on the whole time, they never learn to fly. So you can say whatever you want, and Raquel or whatever the fuck, she can say a win's not a win, a victory's not a victory, or whatever dipshit math she's doing.
that was Cactus Rack.
Fine. When they win, they win. I don't care. I don't care if they use a mop and a bucket of blood. I don't care if they use a hot air balloon. If they win, they win.
Hypothetically speaking.
Help them win.
Hypothetically speaking, once No Coast figures out their little in-house situation and they go back into the tag team pool and they have competition against other people again, and they run up against Turtle Power that is led to the ring by one Cactus Rack, I mean, that would be an interesting scenario, huh?
What are you implying?
I'm just saying that if at some point the hierarchy at Rocket Pro Wrestling decides to make No Coast, Joey Blues, and Brian Crazer to fight the amazing Turtle Mike Brennan and Hot Rod Daddy Andy with Cactus Rack at their side, you would then be on the outside of the ring with Cactus Rack, and you would have to deal with her face to face as opposed to Zoom.
I would get to.
Yes.
I have to. Nobody's making me. I want to.
So
I'm going to take what you just said and twist it a little bit.
Okay.
The way I see it is that if that match happened, I would be given a free opportunity, a get out of jail free card to do something that would probably get me put in jail anywhere else. So the best possible scenario after this fiasco of interaction I had with her, the best thing that could possibly happen in my world is that that match happens soon. I'm not going to forget any of this, but I would like to do it soon while the iron is hot. Is that what you said earlier, Red? Strike when the iron's hot. I'm going to strike her in a dumb fucking face. That's what's going to happen. So by all means, if you're watching this, Saint or whoever else is running Rocket Pro, sign it up. Make sure she signs the contract saying, I'm not going to sue anybody. Not going to be any follow-ups here. No, like wrongful death suits. Sign it. And we'll see what happens. Confident. Happy.
that is that could be a supernova of a situation. Davison Sarai, thank you so much tonight for your time and your energy and everything you brought to this episode. It was pretty impressive.
Wow.
What the actual fuck just happened, Red?
What you mean? What happened?
What the fuck? What was that all about?
Hey, bro, you the one with the obsession for me.
No, that was, and she's gone like the wind.
Wasn't you about to tell her she could go?
I was about to tell her that the Power Hour has each other's back, and if she decided to take some liberties against Cactus Rack, I am there at ringside myself.
Steve, this the same dude. Thank you, Rion.
Oh, now Rion shows up. Now Rion fucking shows up. Singing, I am the sun, I am the moon, I am whatever the fuck you were singing.
Hey, you chose this life, so you did it yourself.
Shouldn't you be on JFW? Isn't that where you're at now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a minute.
Oh my God. Don't we have shows to recover or whatever?
Uh-oh. And she's back.
I changed my mind. I got one more thing to say. Red, I appreciate you having me on the show today. I don't know why you had a negative opinion of me earlier. I don't really care. I have basically a positive impression of you now. Do me a favor and keep Steve on the level. He needs a lot of work. I'm confident you can get there under your tutelage.
I've tried for years. It's just he needs therapy. He needs therapy. So I think what we really need to do is uh get his money together so he can have a session with you. So
Here's the issue. He's going to be highly distracted the whole time with his fascination.
all right.
I've had too many clients project all that stuff onto me. I mean, I get it, but I'm tired of it. It's lame. You know what I mean? It's kind of flabby. It's just, I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather deal with something more interesting.
What a horrible thing to say.
I'm not calling you flabby. I'm saying the concept is flabby. Sensitive.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, maybe you can recommend. Maybe we can sit down and you can recommend some people that he can see, and then we can open his mind. You know.
Well, I recommend right now inpatient hospitalization, electroshock therapy, lithium, Zyprexa, you name it. I don't care. Birth control. Is that legal in Illinois?
I don't believe in pharmaceuticals.
I don't give a shit. Peace out.
Where
she's gone again. Again, she's gone. She just came back from the ether, and there she goes again. Well, this night has not gone away I thought it was going to go at all. And I mean that. There's been something in the water today that has been absolutely crazy. People have been crazy all day.
Yeah, they have. Yes, they have.
I think Cactus Mercury was in Gatorade and some shit.
You ain't got to tell me. I lived it.
It was one fire after another. Anyways, thank you, Ms. Sarai, for providing fear and fascination on this episode. This past Saturday, well, let's wait. You know what? I before we get into Rocket Pro and then end with Wrestle League, this morning or yesterday, we had our own Rion Skills, who has become a lightning rod of controversy at Rocket Pro Wrestling, appear on the JFW podcast. Now, I have not had the opportunity to listen to the show. I'll be doing that this evening, but I understand he made quite a splash. Rion, any thoughts on the JFW podcast as Travis was singing your praises?
Nope, because it's all on there. I more or less just talk to Turtle and explain other stuff for the same questions I've been asked all day, every day, since kicking what's-his-face in the balls. It's all there. You can just listen to it there. It's fine.
I was supposed to, I talked to Turtle today, and I was supposed to tell Davison Sarai that Travis has a crush on her. And I was so vexed by what was going on that I forgot to do it. So sorry, Travis, you're going to have to do your own dirty work. I help you with commentary at SCW, but I can't get you women to it. That doesn't work that way. So good luck next time, Travis. I love you. You're going to be great as lead commentator at Southland Championship Wrestling. I believe in you. And Red, he ran me down a little bit today on the JFW podcast, so Turtle says. He said that the beating I took on Saturday, I had coming to me. Red ain't got no thoughts.
I've got plenty of thoughts. I've seen the footage. I've got a ton of thoughts.
I even had P.L. Myers offering the services of the Chicago Connection to come watch my back.
But so even with that, it's funny how you're part of the connection, but the connection wasn't there to have your back. But since you asked and you opened the door a little bit, let me just say this. That moment proved everything that Rion said last week on this show to be true. That's all I'm going to say. That very footage showed everything he talked about. Everything he talked about. I can expand, but I'll let that be. Now, as far as you go, I get it. You said if you touch my partner, you would fight for her honor. I'm trying to figure out why were you the only one, but again, I'll leave that alone. You got your ass whooped. You got your ass whooped good. And I kind of told you last week, all week, I told you, the idols have numbers, correct? I told you that. And nobody, I guess because I'm old and, I don't know anything, and, I'm playing whatever, manager, wrestler, whatever. I'm just playing, so I don't know anything.
You're what?
All I'm saying.
You don't play, you are. I don't know what that means.
But clearly nobody listens because I told you the idols have numbers. I told you that. So what should you have done ahead of time? Numbers. It is unfortunately, this is like a bad WWE. I mean, again. So I don't know.
I've become a TikTok meme, Red. I've become a damn TikTok meme.
I see. Here's my thing. And this has nothing to do with Shelly. Hi, Shelly. I hope you're okay. Hope you're getting better. But ask yourself this, Steve. Why?
Why what?
And why? I want you to look at what happened. I want you to watch not that TikTok footage, but I want you to watch the actual footage. Right? An entire locker room full of big, strong wrestlers. Right? You and Shelly are being attacked by the idols, right? Who came out?
Refs.
No, I ain't talking about the refs. I ain't talking about the refs. One other person came out.
Yeah, I honestly, I have very little recollection because I was concussed.
Well, if I'm correct, Nuke came out.
Not even Turtle.
Not Turtle. Nobody else, right?
I'd have saved him.
Not even somebody from the Star.
Wait, hold on. I can answer where Turtle was, as he explained on the JFW podcast yesterday. He was on the phone. He made it very clear that he was outside on the phone, and he came back and everybody was on the ground. Those are his words. You can listen to that on the JFW podcast deal. He was very clear that he was on the phone. You can have fun with that as much as you want, but he was very clear on that.
It's funny how Rocket Pro had Travis T waiting in the wings to take my seat after I gave up my health and potentially my life to save one of the owners.
But you say that again. Say that last part again, Steve.
About one of the owners?
That's all I'm gonna say. Just gonna say, people that stand in graveyards didn't show up.
I didn't really think about that. You're right.
How can you not think about that shit, Steve?
It just happened. I'm still
Rion, I'm just gonna put the shit out there. Let's just fucking be honest. Rion said last week certain shit has been taking place. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Did he not say last week, if somebody touches my mama, I'm gonna come out and beat that ass? did he or did, or I revamped it, but did he or did he not say that?
He did.
Did he fucking show up?
I did not see Maximus Orion, but again, I didn't see a lot because I was down.
Watch the fucking video.
You can't.
Unless he's in the Raptors like Sting, which I know St. Joseph Parks, them bitches is way up there and ain't that much damn room. He didn't do that. So either one or two things happened, and I wasn't even there. Either Rion beat the shit out of his ass, and his ass was laying in the hospital bed, or two, he bitched out.
It's quite an accusation, right? I don't know.
It's not an accusation. It's much friction that lady upstairs gives me. If somebody puts their hands on her, it's war. I'm going to die protecting her. Now, I will give you this, Steve. You're a man of your word. If somebody touches your partner, you know, hey, you laid it all out there. You know, you sacrificed for her. But where was he?
Guess we'll have to have Maximus Orion.
No, we fucking don't. Because for what?
Well, you got to ask. You got a question to ask him. We're like,
dude, he answered the question Saturday at Rocket Pro. So clearly he needs his ass kicked some more. And maybe he'll get it through his fucking head. But that shit was uncalled for. I'm sorry. I've been telling y'all, it's a numbers game. Don't you think I know just as well as anybody about gang mentality and numbers? And guess what? If the locker room had said enough is enough, we're not taking this shit anymore, and stormed the fucking ring, they would have had the numbers. But one man showed up on behalf of you and Shelly and got his ass handed.
Nuke.
But where was Maximus Orion? That's the number one question. And then the number two question, why is everybody bitching? They're not banding together. See, if I'm Maximus, I'm getting everybody to follow me into battle to get rid of the fucking idols. But nobody did it. He didn't even do it. It's like he stood there, Nuke, we're going to go out there, we're going to whoop everybody's ass. You ready? And Nuke was like, yeah. And Nuke ran out there and he stood in the back and said, fuck it, I'm straight.
I can't confirm that happened.
I can't confirm it either, but that's how it feels. Because where was Maximus?
Well, these are all things that we'll have to talk about.
Let's run down the rest of the show.
Maximus and Rion started the show, and then their rivalry carried on into intermission, thus culminating in what will be a last man standing match at Kicks on 66 in May. But the bridge will be crossed at spring break on April 15th, as there will be a good old fashioned contract signing. I hope they let me mediate the contract signing, because I think that would be fun. I've only done that one time. It was Angel and Renee Van Peebles, and that didn't end very well for me at Crash Tested. So I'd love another shot at the apple, but that's neither here nor there. So at spring break, the contracts get signed. And then in May, Rion Skills, the real deal, takes on Maximus Orion in a last man standing match. Rion, any thoughts? Rion has no thoughts, but that's okay. We'll get back to Rion later.
I'm sorry. It's this whole technology thing. I'm just tired of you continuously trying to get me to jump into stuff when I've literally just said all the questions or answered all the questions and said all the things over the last like month. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, there's a whole podcast that's already out there talking about this exact same thing. I don't
Okay,
that you
well,
didn't listen to. That
no,
you didn't listen to, by the way.
I did not.
I'm just letting you know that it's all out there. But for the sake of argument, I am going to say that I am looking forward to filing paperwork so we can move forward with the fight. Is
Okay.
that fair?
That is more than fair. I apologize for being redundant, and I certainly don't want to ride on the coattails of JFW, which it seems like I'm doing right now. So we'll move on to other things, other business.
You are having a rough day today. a rough
They say that every now and again you have an epiphany about your value in certain scenarios, and I have epiphanied all day. So that's great. Fine. Lesson learned for me. Moving on to the rest of the Rocket Pro show. It was fantastic. Read the final level, came in and did final level shit. And Youth Gone Wild is one of the toughest tag teams that I have seen in the decade I've been doing this. They used everything in their arsenal, everything in their book, but they could not get past the final level. And when all was said and done and the crowd chanted, "Finish him," it was game over. Super kick into an M80. There is not one tag team working today anywhere that can take down the final level. Period. I said it.
Okay.
Also, while I was backstage in medical, being patched back together after my ass kicking, I had a chance to watch on the monitor the main event that I really wanted to call. And I am looking forward to seeing how Travis and Professor Blackburn called a match of the magnitude of Joey Avalon versus Quinn Whittick. It was a match for the ages. It was amazing. I told people, as much as he is the bane of my existence, Joey Avalon is spectacular. And Quinn is every bit the fighting champion he is everywhere he goes. That match was destined to be amazing. When you look up main event in the dictionary, you see this match. It was that good. I have been at Rocket Pro now since October of 21, I believe. Happily, it's one of my favorite places to be in this business, ever. I have never seen a visiting superstar come in and have his name chanted by a crowd, all while being a goddamn villain. Joliet loved them some Joey Avalon. So real talk, I hope they bring him back soon because that crowd loved that shit. That was amazing. We talked a little bit earlier about No Coast, so we don't need to talk any about that further, other than the fact that it was the worst day of Santino's life. Some things happened, that boy, and some expressions and some things, man. I feel for you, kid, but you created it. The power, I'm sorry, Turtle Power, ended up being great and beat the Idols. So I don't know if they'll go up against the final level and survive, but I would like to see them fight No Coast, as I stated earlier. So I think that would be a quality match. Turtle Power, since their formation, they're rolling. It was a hell of a show. It was a hell of a show. Another record-breaking attendance day for the gals at Rocket Pro. Very proud to be a part of it. And April 15th, Saturday, spring break, and you can see right there the graphic, triple threat match for the RPW championship. Quinn Whittock survived Avalon and will now have to survive the combined stylings of the mercenary Garrison Creed, who waterboarded a person in Joliet the last time he was there. So that could be very interesting. And then the return of the Hawaiian hitman, Koa Laksamana, getting a shot at RPW gold. So, and Koa, much like Quinn, doesn't care about his body in any way. Will do anything he needs to get the job done. So that has the potential to be explosive. We will have the contract signing between Maximus Orion and Rion Skills. And Shelly and I will deliver a message to Joey and Roxy. You best believe that. So come out to spring break. It's going to be great. Now, let's move on.
Yes, let's move on. You need to leave that alone.
What do you mean?
None. Go ahead. Next one.
You don't think that I'm going to have something to say after what happened to me?
Again, I'm trying to figure out.
You saw what I did to that chair.
Nobody. Yeah, I saw what you did to the chair. But
that was a shitty comment, by the way.
If nobody else is fighting the fight, is it worth fighting?
It has to be.
Really? Nobody else thinks so?
Well, I stand by my partner. I will. We have.
You're the only one.
We are.
Irony.
We are going to get it done.
I would love to be a fly in that house.
We are gonna figure shit out, and we are gonna cut the head off the steak. Better believe that. This Saturday night in Homewood at the HF Auditorium, Wrestle League's big anniversary Super Show 11, the 11th anniversary of this fine promotion, and we've got some match announcements that have made their way on social media, so we'll talk about them. We've got Mr. 100, friend of the show, Joey Dalton, taking on the man that knocked out Red, Louis the Wrench.
He did not knock me out. I keep saying that, and if I was knocked out, I wouldn't be here, would I?
Knock the fuck out. Damn. Little Chris Tucker for you. So we've got Joey Dalton, who is on Team Quinn. After Quinn and he had a hell of a match, joined Team Quinn in some shenanigans at the end of the last show, and that has gotten under the skin of Lou. And here we go. The Wrench versus Mr. Dalton. Red, how do you see this panning out?
Dalton gonna beat that old ass.
I don't know. Rion, you got any thoughts about Dalton versus Louis the Wrench? When technology catches up?
Nope.
I don't know what he's looking for.
I am looking for I'm getting the graphics so I can talk about them. In a match that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, Quinn Whittock, Wrestle League champion, finally has to pay the motherfucking piper. You don't shoot a fireball in a man's eye, especially someone like Ewok, and think that that is never going to be called to the table and you aren't going to get a receipt. Sexy Violence is one of the best working to date. There's no doubt about it. He's got belts everywhere. He's respected everywhere. But he pissed off the Ewok. That's just stupid. Because Ewok doesn't care. Ewok doesn't care about his health. Ewok doesn't care about his life. What Ewok does care about is respect. And you better put respect on his name. And he feels like he got disrespected. He said so on commentary. He has been medically cleared, so the main event is set. Quinn Whittock versus the Ewok. And what can only be described as a grudge match from hell. Red,
I refuse to call this one.
why do you refuse to call this one?
Let's be honest. We see what Quinn did to get the title. Who's to say he won't have something more dastardly planned to keep the title? Correct?
I'll give you that.
Now, you just said Ewok wants respect. If he's beating the shit out of Quinn and the ref is telling him to stop, DQ. I mean, it's hard to call this. You can't say, oh, Ewok is going to go and, hard nose and, his usual Ewok style. You can't say that. You just said the man, and I agree. Like, this definitely isn't a wrestling match. This is a fight. But one's going to fight to keep it, and the other one's going to fight to beat his ass, the other guy's ass. So you can't call this match. You can't, because there's no way you can see which way this match is going to go. You can't say Sexy Violence is going to dive off the balcony into, you can't, because with both of these men, there is no way to know what they're going to do. Again, Quinn is going to try to hold on to the title, and you don't know exactly what that means. You don't. And Ewok is going to try to beat the shit out of Whittaker. But does that mean by beating his ass, like, he walks away with, he's happy that he's beat respect into this, but he doesn't win the title? Like, I don't know. So I just think at this moment, the title is secondary. Like, it really doesn't matter for Ewok. So I don't know. I can't call this one.
I think Ewok knows that the best way to get his pound of flesh out of Quinn Whittaker is to take what he values the most, and that would be that title. And I've come to know Ewok a little bit over the years, and he is capable of not only unspeakable violence, but he is incredibly cerebral. And when he has to be, he can be as cold and calculating as a stone cold killer. I'm afraid for Quinn Whittaker because I do think Quinn's going to get beaten with an adventure of his life. But what I'm almost more afraid of is the fact that he has put Ewok into a place, a headspace where the symphony of violence knows no bounds. So I think we change champions this Saturday night.
Okay.
I think to Ewok, it's the only logical conclusion.
All right.
In other championship action, we have the champion tag team Warhorse taking on friends of this show. We'll be having them on this broadcast soon. The Bro Bros. When they're not doing security with the knockouts, they are all over the Midwest doing cool wrestling things. One of my favorite moments last year was them wrestling as Blunt Man and Chronic. I will never forget that. That was that was a holy shit moment that I never saw coming. So I'm a big fan of the Bros, but I respect Warhorse. They are bad dudes. So you've got the Bros against Warhorse. What do you see, Red?
Until you prove them wrong, Warhorse. Like, dudes fear nobody. So do you think they're gonna fear the Bro Bros? No. I just don't see titles switching hands. I don't.
The Bro Bros respect Wrestle League and the traditions very much. And it might just be their time. Timing is everything. Many people on this show tonight have said that. So might be time for 2 new titles. We might have multiple new title holders.
We'll see.
In other action, we have a big 6-man elimination match. People like Don Capri will be in that match. Muggsy James will be in that match, amongst others. So that is going to be a very, very interesting thing. I love the energy that the young men at Wrestle League bring into these scramble matches. They're really fun to see. And then if the main event isn't enough to get you, the marquee match should be the fatal 4-way ladder match for the Proven Championship. You have got the King of the Shuffle, Russell All-Time, versus former champion Jesus DeSafio, versus one of the most talented wrestlers on the planet this year, next year, and every year, Shaq Jordan, versus the one and only Hot Rod Daddy Andy. Ladders. 4 men that don't care. Red, how do you see it playing out?
Long as Russell climbs the ladder, touches the title, and then all 3 men push his ass off to the point where he hits that wooden ass floor and knocks the damn shuffle out of his ass, I'm good. I don't care who we. But since you asked for me to predict somebody, I'll pick Shaq Jordan. I think Shaq Jordan is going to keep his title.
My heart says the Hot Rod. My head says Shaq. But the wrestling fan inside of me wonders what the Proven Championship would look like around the waist of Russell. So I've got a lot of mixed feelings about this match. You know, Shaq is definitely the most skilled, but nobody has more heart than Hot Rod Daddy Andy. Jesus DeSafio wants his title back, feels like it was taken unjustly from him. And then Russell All-Time, he thinks he's the GOAT. So that is one of
that says a lot, right? From a man that thinks Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT.
Well,
that thinks LeBron is the GOAT.
Yeah. LeBron has scored more points than anybody. Just ask Russ.
And what does that mean? How many titles does he? How many championships? How many rings?
Well, he ain't Tom Brady, that's for sure.
How many times has he choked in the finals? Just saying.
So if you're not doing anything, even if you are do something, cancel it and come out to the HF Auditorium this Saturday night to see Wrestle League. In fact, I'm going to do you one better. Come to Wrestle League and see the anniversary show, number 11, and then come back to the HF Auditorium next week to see the Knockouts as the Horrific Haunters take on the Where's my graphic?
See, you don't have your graphic.
It's the Retro Rumblers versus the Horrific Haunters. I'm sorry, it took me a minute. They're all color coordinated. The Crushers are blue, the Punishers are pink purple, the Haunters are green, and the Rumblers are red.
Well, let me say this. If you've never seen roller derby, I mean, of course you can YouTube it and
testify.
That's fine.
Tell them about the movie.
So this past Sunday, I watched Whip It. And I had it in my queue for a while.
You know who directed that, right?
Yeah. She was in the movie.
She was in the movie.
But to watch it, see, there's your graphic.
There it is. Thank you, Rian.
But to watch it and to understand this one person's plight, the similarities, and you commented on my post. The similarities between roller derby and wrestling are so intertwined. But I got a lot of the technical terms, and I was like I felt like a kid. I don't know if anybody remembers that there used to be roller derby on TV back in the day. So I felt like a kid, even though this was a movie. I felt like when they were having their bouts, and I was like, wow, like I remember watching this as a kid, and it really, like, I hated that the movie ended. Like I wanted to see next season. Like, what happens next season? Um, and just to know that I cannot wait for the day that the Chicago Knockouts find a place
For that bank track.
for that track. Oh my God.
It changes everything on that bank track.
And I'm like I said, for me, it brought back some great memories as a kid. But it made me understand what Cactus Rack and her cohorts do on a regular, consistent basis. And I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you don't like roller derby, then you don't like roller derby. That's fine. Everybody is allowed your opinion. But don't shit on these women. Like, the shit that they do, I mean, and they gotta skate at the same time. Like, we always joke, can you chew bubble gum and walk or whatever, like they do it on a consistent basis. They gotta skate, whip, uh, try to block, and all kind of shit. Damn. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
I was Jimmy
So,
Fallon.
I loved Jimmy Fallon in this movie. Like, he was
That's
an
the whole
idiot.
shtick, Red. That is the whole shtick.
He was an idiot. I loved him.
That is my
Um,
card everywhere I go. He's an idiot.
but yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday, March 18th.
Red, you coming?
Hold on. I got it. So you asked. So I'm never gonna say I'm coming unless
I know you're not coming. I know why you're not coming too.
Why I'm not coming?
Because there's a promotion that you work for that has a show that night.
Oh shit! Well, it ain't in my phone. So
Shabance is calling.
no, we'll see. Oh yeah, he in. But okay.
I will not be in Shabance for a minute. Let's just leave that there. We'll let that lay down. Well, I think that's all we got, isn't it, Red?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, tonight. Yeah, it was an intriguing guest. You getting your ass handed to you, and the person that should have saved you didn't, and an anniversary show that is unlike any show that will be seen in Chicago this year.
Can't wait to see what the ARC does at the anniversary show.
Would we show up at the anniversary show and crash the party? Oh, I'm hurt.
Just make sure you put on your medical tape. Old man.
Hey, I'm fine.
Man, we're getting old, bro.
Rion, any last words?
Rion's getting ready for his last man standing match.
No last words.
He's all podcasted out because he played with his new friends today.
Well, I'm so for the first time.
I got this one. You know what? Eat a dick. I'm sick of this. I am sick of this. I get that you want a response. I get it. This show was a debacle today, and you know why. I did everything I could to make sure that you were okay. You need to calm the fuck down. Please. Please. C-Red got to speak. Everybody got to say what they need to say. The show was wonderful until it wasn't. Everything worked out like it was supposed to. Now that I've said my last words, y'all can go on ahead and go about your business.
And the day continues to get better and better as we go.
Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
Thank you to Davison Sarai for being a very unusual and spectacular guest. Thanks to Cactus Rack for getting through her illness and showing up tonight. Thanks to C Red. As always, don't miss Wrestle League this Saturday. Check out Roller Derby the following Saturday. And thanks to Rion Skills for telling me to calm the fuck down. Next week on this program.
We got to do this again next week?
Well, you might not want to do it next week, but I hope you do. Next week on this show, people are going to give us a lot of, well, they'll give me a lot of crap, but
yeah, because you booking agent.
It had to be done. So next week, live on the Power Hour.
Do I need to take a week off?
We had the LIM on the show. It only fair that we have the Rocket Boys come on this show and talk about what they like about RPW.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
I have heard from a lot of people that having fans on a podcast is dumb. I disagree wholeheartedly. We have had more views on our LIM show than any other podcast we've done. Period.
Well, let me say this and then we can end.
There are a lot of vets out there, man. A lot of vets.
But here's the thing.
Don't like it.
The fans essentially now, hey, if the wrestlers are listening or watching, that's great. Right? But when we started this for the fans. Right?
You did.
So the fans can have something so they can enjoy and get insight into different wrestlers and groups and factions and what have you. The fans have a voice. And right now, Rocket Pro Wrestling is the fucking hottest ticket around. I'm not biting my tongue about that. The crowd has spoke for itself. The way that company has grown over the past few months, like, damn. Dude, for me,
it's all Damian Saint's doing.
No, it doesn't matter who's, but I was doing another show. And to sit at that show and watch 15 minutes after the fucking doors open, a sign is posted saying standing room only. Fuck. 15 minutes after the doors open?
The line was around the parking lot.
So I believe it's not like we're doing this shit every week or every month where we're letting new fans on and but again, guess what? We want to know what made them fall in love with wrestling. What made them love Rocket Pro? What do they think? Right. So to get the fans' opinion, I don't see what's wrong with that.
You know who taught me this was a good idea way back in my radio days was the Macho Ghost. The Macho Ghost wanted us to have the fans on every week. And at times I thought, why are we doing it like this? But it really is a sound idea to have them come on every now and again and take the temperature of the room and see how they're feeling. So I'm looking forward to the Rocket Boys next week. Thanks for
I am too. Now that you done told me, I mean, it's crazy again. Like, are people saying that they don't want the fans on because they haven't been on the show?
I don't know.
Are they saying that because they want somebody else to drop their name to get them more? I don't know. Again, this is a fan driven business.
It is.
Without the fans, we're nothing.
This is me contributing to the show. It's almost as if what Davison Sarai is dealing with her 1 year versus multiple years with the business is slowly trickling down to the rest of the industry. But that's an entirely different conversation in itself. The business has changed drastically, but people don't want to see that because they still have the same old school mindset. But I'm just a dude.
We're all just dudes.
But I disagree. First of all, you're not just a dude, Rihanna, nor are you, Steve. But here's the thing: it's always been fan driven, regardless. Let's be honest. Me and Rihanna have been around long enough. Steve, you've been around 10 years. We've been around long enough to see companies that, guess what? If the fans don't like your product, or they don't believe in your product, or know about your product, eventually you're going to fold. You're going to fold. That proves it right there. Yeah, guess what? Let's be honest. Let's break the fourth fucking wall down. Yeah, the promoters pay us. Yeah. No shit.
Most of the time. Most
of the time. We get paid to do a job. We do it. Hey, we go to fuck home. All right. But at the same time, guess what? It's the fans that keep you coming fucking back. If ask any fucking wrestler, do you want to perform in front of a dead crowd or a lively crowd? I'll say that. And they're going to tell you lively. So it's a fan driven business. So I don't get it, So it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to having the Rocket Pro Boys on.
And now, as we close, I want to debut a quick news segment called Flash is an Ass. Flash is an ass because he got his ass kicked in his match. And then Flash became an ass further because he was bitching about not being on the next show, and Buck Nasty gave him a spot. So now he's got to fight Christian Rose. This has been your Flash is an Ass moment. We'll see you next week on the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen. For C-Red, Rion, and Cactus, I'm Steve. Be nice to each other for a fucking change, man.